Hello everyone, Phoenix61 here with your Legend shenanigans for the day. We are in the Friesland. This is a Global XP ship that you could buy in the store for Global XP, and it is an epic destroyer hunter here. As the CF6 approaches here, we are going to trip our smoke, and then when he disappears, we're going to trip our sonar because he is within range of that. And we are just going to just have this super unfair advantage here of being able to see him and shoot him, and he can't see us or shoot us. We get early detection from his torpedoes here as well because of the sonar, so plenty of time to dodge all of those as well. And that's all she wrote for that destroyer, right? Just first couple minutes in the game. And then we'll just utilize our smoke screen here to just kind of damage farm these two battleships that have pushed up quite a bit as well. And not like hindsight's 2020 here. I didn't realize my smoke screen extended into the zone, so I definitely should have been moving up into the zone here while sort of just kind of picking on this Musashi, right? So, but we'll continue to shoot at him, go for superstructure, and try and trigger fires on him. There we go. And I'll just keep the reticle on him, and, you know, even though he disappeared for a second there, right, just keep lobbing the bullets, see if we can get any hits. We're getting a lot of broken shells, but that's fine. Right, ultimate goals, trigger fires, there goes another one. But yeah, you can get this ship is, you know, free-ish, right, when it comes to free-to-play. And I think I'm even using the free-to-play commander on this as well. So I have a couple games to highlight here. And then, actually, I think we could do 3. So we fast-forward through some boring parts here, too. But yeah, a couple games at least here to highlight. And then I'll go through the commander build as well at the end, show you how I have this built out. Yeah, we'll just continue to pick on this Musashi here, right? And this is where I was like, oh, I just now realized I probably could have been in the zone the whole time here. And had this zone capped by now. So we'll move up. Still got plenty of smoke screen time. Right, your biggest shtick with this ship is no torpedoes, right? So what's kind of fun about it too is not everyone realizes, right? Especially newer players aren't going to realize. They think, you know, like a destroyer, right? Torpedoes, right? So like, but yeah, so not everybody realizes you don't have torpedoes, so you kind of have that a little bit of an advantage there, right? Like people will kind of keep their distance sometimes, even though they don't really need to. Alright, so smoke's about to run out here. This is a good anti-air ship as well. Some of these pan-European destroyers are pretty good with AA. So you could build, if you really wanted to, right? Tier 7, you're going to get, that's kind of where I had noticed the most carrier games. And yeah, you could build into the anti-air, but I've built fully into making this thing a gunboat, right? So we'll get the zone cap, and then we will engine boost back into play here because everyone has left this area. So we'll go and see if we can help cap the B hole on this one. Bravo. And if airplanes want to fly over us, that's great. Good for them. And then at this point, I noticed there's a cruiser sort of at the top right of the B cap here. And so I kind of figured, you know what, we're going to have sonar ready soon. You know, and that's kind of like a camping spot, right? Like a lot of people will, you're right kind of where I'm looking right now. There's a cruiser up there, right? So on the other side of that island. So he's kind of just camping there and remaining undetected. So it's kind of going to cheese the, like what we would do is go up to him and trip the, you know, we could stay within the B cap. And the way sonar and radar works in the game, right, it doesn't care about islands or anything being in the way. So we could go up on the other side of the island, trip the sonar, and keep him spotted and hopefully flush him out. It kind of works for me. I always like, you know, we'll watch and see, right? It's a cruiser, so there's a high likelihood that he has sonar and or radar himself, and that's what gets me into trouble up here. But we're going to do it anyway, right? Where our team's got a little bit of an advantage. We've got 2 zones. They don't have any. We're up a little bit on ships. 2 more of their ships go down, including their carrier as well. So I was kind of like, you know what, let's be aggressive here. Let's pick on him. We've got our sonar and smoke ready here. So my plan is, right, we'll sonar and see if we can keep this cruiser spotted. So we do. We hit the sonar and it does spot that cruiser. And even though I can't shoot him, right, like now he's spotted for, you know, I've got 2 battleships left that probably don't have an angle on him. But at least the cruiser that's out here on my team would potentially be able to shoot him as well. And then we'll drop the smoke here and then just kind of pick on this Brandenburg as he sails through. But what's going to happen to me is, right, I think this cruiser either uses sonar or radar. Like, a lot of times people are like, oh, I'm getting picked up by sonar. I could probably trip my sonar and spot that same ship, right? So he figures it out eventually here. He does take out our cruiser, so right they're kind of dwindling down our ship advantage here, which I should have been paying more attention to as well. But yeah, here right now, I'm getting away with it, and then yeah, there goes his sonar, right? So I start backing up, and it's like kind of a little bit, I was a little bit too slow at it, right? So we'll start backing up to try and get away. There's no real point in keeping that cruiser spotted, and nobody on my team can shoot him right now anyway. So I'll try to keep backing up, see if we can get out of the sonar detection range. And we do for a brief moment there. But then what happens is this cruiser and destroyer, right? I don't know why their enemy destroyer doesn't go and cap the Charlie zone first here. But yeah, they come around the corner here, and so they're going to spot me. We'll use our damage con, right? But yeah, he's going to, even though he's low on health, we don't stand too much of a chance against Rochester guns at this range. But we'll do as much as we can to him to kind of make it real easy for hopefully our teammates to finish him off. And then we do go down. Yep, so Kaga finishes him off. So now all they got left is this destroyer. We're up significantly on points. So basically, just somebody needs to stay alive. So we'll fast forward this game here. He does go around the corner here and has an easy job, you know, an easy time finishing off our carrier. But that required him to leave the zone cap, right? When you don't play objectives, right? I think he could have probably, well, there's our battleship in B now, right? But he could have potentially had Charlie zone capped, you know, from before, from when I was still alive, and then tried to get the B cap there, and then maybe had a chance. I don't know. At this point, right, both of these battleships on my team are very healthy, right? They've got quite a bit of health left, so I think even if he got torpedoes on them, there's just not enough time for torpedo reload for one ship, right? For one destroyer to be able to reload torpedoes enough time to get enough shots on these guys to finish them off. So he ends up, you know, kind of realizing his fate and shoots and gets spotted, and the battleship finishes him off. So we'll take a quick peek at the leaderboard here. So for that game, which, you know, didn't seem like too much of a damage doing or a high hitting game, right? We were top of the leaderboard. Got a bunch of missions completed here. It was sort of the beginning-ish of the campaign for this campaign, right? But yeah, top spot on the leaderboard with 3,000 XP. So we'll jump into the next game here, right? I'm forwarding up to, skipping ahead to where the action starts. I noticed my carrier here is legit way too far up, so I'm going to try and drop smoke for him. We'll be a team player for once in my life here. See if he notices, because then he could potentially stop and sit in it. But, yeah, you're too far up too early in the game as a carrier player if you're at this spot here, right? So we do manage to get some smoke around him and get him undetected for the time being. But yeah, three destroyers in this game too. So I was kind of surprised that the carrier wanted to be up that far, right? But anyway, we get a little lucky, right? I didn't participate in it, but 2 of their cruisers are already down in this game. But again, we are a destroyer hunter, and I know that there are 2 destroyers on our team, or on the enemy team, that had got spotted on this flank. So we'll start heading towards them, or where they were last spotted, and see if we can help out. Yeah, the extent of my contributions here so far are I've spotted 3 ships. Alright, there's one. And he's already low on health. Schomburg. So we'll take some shots at him. He does start turning away from our battleship, which makes sense. And then we can see bullets flying out of that smoke screen over there as well, so we know the other destroyers in that direction also. So we'll just kind of head towards both of them here. And nothing has line of sight on us, so we're being able to fire our guns and not get spotted right now for the time being. And trying to save the sonar for when we get close enough to the smoke to pick up whoever that is, but there is potential for torpedoes to be coming out of said smoke screen as well, so have to keep that in mind. And then now, of course, we're getting spotted as well. But if we can finish off Schonberg, that's what's picking us up, so there it goes. And then somebody in the smoke screen trips radar. So we must have one of the Pan-European line destroyers. So we trip our sonar, and of course we get close enough here. And, well, sonar lasts longer than radar here, so... Or is he backing out of his smoke? Yep, he's backed out of his smoke, so he's got us spotted regardless anyway here. But we get plenty of help from our teammates on this side. We'll be able to... We got super early warning from those torpedoes from the sonar, so... That is easy. So that's 2 destroyers accredited to us, although we had plenty of help from our teammates there, right? We'll wait on this damage con to come back for this engine damage. And we'll start heading back into... We'll just push up into the base here if nothing else is going to challenge us. They did take out 3 of our battleships, so this has become a competitive game now at this point.
Probleem opgelost, kapitein.
Trying to remember like where this yeah, the enemy destroyer, right, he was last spotted way down at the bottom left, but I feel like that was quite a while ago, so I think somebody may have started coming back towards the base here and we get challenged. We'll have to see here, but we'll keep pushing up into the base. Now's a good time to subscribe to the channel, guys. I would appreciate that. Nope, never mind, that destroyer did get spotted again. He's still down there. Okay. But yeah, make sure you're following the channel, guys. I try to do Legends videos every day, so yeah. We'll keep pushing up here. I probably should have fast forwarded this part, but I didn't. It's my bad. Oh yeah, that's what we run into, is the carrier here. So this is going to be not fun for him because we are, you know, again, Friesland's got pretty good AA. And so once, you know, he realizes he's spotted here, our cruiser that's behind us can now shoot him, right? So that's why you see the bullets flying here over our head. But we'll get into the zone. We'll be able to pick on him too here. Right, there is potential, right, if we as we fire our guns here, right, we're going to get spotted, which is fine. But depending on what if those battleships on the enemy team that are left, right, if they're paying attention, they could potentially hit us, right? It is kind of a long shot for them. Long shot at a small target. But we'll pick on the Saipan here till he's gone. I did switch to AP just to kind of see how it does. Right, we've got a decent angle, right? Somewhat broadside. We're getting quite a few penetrations, but we're getting some broken shells too. So as he angles away, I'll switch back to HE. The HE shells are kind of where it's at with this ship, right? So I'm using those most of the time unless we've got nice broadside shots on something lightly armored, right? Doing plenty of nice little bits and pieces taken away from him. We'll turn in towards those torpedoes to dodge those. And down goes the carrier. So yeah, so we're still detected, right? So that's kind of where I was figuring their destroyer probably was in around that area. So we go unspotted because we stopped firing our guns, but there's a high likelihood that this destroyer, right, is going to get into the zone to challenge us. And it is a Grom, so right, so we're up a tier on him, and that's the European destroyers that do have the radar, but at tier 6 Grom, he doesn't have radar yet, so we'll have a big advantage over him if he does come in and challenge the zone here. So he should be easy picking, so probably if he does have support right from his battleships that are still left, if they're paying attention. But we've got this cruiser here with us, and we've got both smoke and sonar ready. So right, so there's the zone now being contested. So we know where he is. I'm legit like just getting off of the flu, so that's why my voice is terrible today. Alright, and then we're spotted for a second there. He fires his guns and then uses his smoke. So we tripped the sonar, right? So we pick up the torpedoes super early, and then we'll just keep pushing up on him, right? He's going to try and sit right at the edge of the zone to keep us from getting the capture. But once we get close enough to him, the sonar is going to pick him up, and then we're going to have our way with him, right? So it's going to be easy pickings here. Cruiser on our team is probably going to fire at him as well. We're undetected still because he's in the smoke. He moves out of the smoke, picks us up for half a second there, and we're free and clear for this game. So we do fast forward now at this point to get this capture over with here. And then we'll take a look at the leaderboard, and I got one more game after this. So only 44,000 damage that time, but that does put us at the top of the board again, 2100 XP. Made a decent chunk of credits. And then we'll jump into another game. So on this one here, I noticed the other destroyer on the enemy team is a black, right? So they've got the smoke and radar, which, right, has a little bit better range than my sonar. And I kind of know where he is now because of where those torpedoes came from. So, right, so I know I've got a destroyer challenging my zone here. What screws me up here is this battleship that pushed up as well. Which means I can't sail across the zone without getting picked on by him. My concealment's not the best here, right? We're 6.2, he's at 6.1. But we could set our smoke screen and hopefully be able to damage farm him for a little bit, trigger some fires, and maybe make him run away. He's going to blind fire at us, that's fine. Gets a good chunk from it. So good for him. But right, we know we've got this black... this destroyer this enemy destroyer that's in this zone, and we've only got 40 seconds left on the sonar here, and we're probably at a disadvantage health wise now that this Lafoudra took a good chunk out of us with that blind fire, right? But we'll continue to pick on him while he's spotted, while we've got smoke. We do need to keep in mind that that black is probably going to have more torpedoes loaded for us soon. So we've only got about 15 seconds left on our sonar here, right? So sure enough, here comes more torpedoes. So basically I'd be forced to leave my smoke screen once our sonar ran out, just because we know that there would probably be torpedoes coming through it, right? But since we still had sonar, we spot him, or we spot his torpedoes. He sent everything at us, right? He's only got 2 racks. And then, of course, here he trips his radar to pick us up. So we're going to see bullets coming from him. So we know where he is now. We're going to try and wait this radar out, right? I'm going to back up and point in towards him to try and mitigate some of this fire. Because as he spots us, right, the battleship took a shot at us as well. Right, so radar is only a few seconds, so we get away with not losing too much of our health there. But we do need an exit strategy. We are at a disadvantage here. We don't have any support, right? No one else has offered to help cover the B-hole here with us. So we're going to move away from this for the time being and try and come back and fight another day when we've got maybe our smoke and sonar ready again. So we're gonna abandon this zone in exchange for our life, right, for the time being. And we'll go and see if we can cap C because, well, we've got 3 battleships over there, none of which have gone into the zone, right? We're 6 minutes into this game. No one else in my team has been willing to capture zones, so we'll go and cap C. while we wait for our consumables to recharge here. Right, and then this way too, right now if we spot that black, like right, if he comes to chase us down, we'll have some support, hopefully, right? We'll have these 3 battleships that can hopefully help shoot the other ships that are picking on us. So our battleships are moving into the zone now, so we're helping get the cap there. We'll keep this Lafoudra spotted. And then we do see that we are located, right? That little located icon on our screen, right? So that's most likely the black, right? So that's most likely the destroyer, right? And this is why sometimes I'm like a little bit skeptic about using twist and track or perceptive commander perks, because this is giving us information as well, right? So that that located icon is because of that perk that that enemy has, right? And we know it's typically on destroyers. Typically people use it with destroyers. And so we know we're the closest ship to him, right? So that's giving us a piece of information as well. So I'm trying to just kind of keep a little bit of distance. I'm guessing he's over there by that Lafoudra, right? He's over there by that battleship. Trying to make sure we get this zone capped.
All stations, concentrate fire on the target.
Right, he's also got, potentially has radar too. We'll cheese a shot at the battleship here. Also see if we can draw some fire from the destroyer and see if he shoots at us, and sure enough he does, right? So that gives us location on where he's at, and then we can just move forward and duck behind this island here and go undetected again. And then just looking at the mini-map, we can see he's right about in our detection range. And so if we come around the corner, we're probably going to get spotted, and he may have a little bit better concealment than us, so then we pick him up. And then he's going to try and smoke. We also have smoke, and then here's where I kind of screw up, right? I shouldn't have fired my guns there, because that got us spotted by the battleship. So he's going to use his radar, right? The black is using his last radar. And I still have 13 seconds of smoke dispersion, so I'm trying to use that to move up here, and then we'll slam on the brakes to try and duck back into our smoke. And then now we're close enough to pick him up with sonar. And then if we can go undetected by staying in the smoke, we should be free and clear here. Yep, so his radar's done. We're not spotted. We're going to start backing up here. So now we finally have that good old sweet advantage of this ship at our disposal here, where we've got him spotted. We're in our smoke. He does move up far enough here to spot us within our smoke firing penalty. So that was kind of a smart move by him. He got close enough to get us spotted. And then we're going to just slam on our brakes here to try and keep this smoke screen between us and that battleship, because that battleship is close enough to us to spot us if we were to if he was to get line of sight on us, right? So we'll get ourselves turned here. We could probably be shooting at him now, right? So we'll take a few cheap shots at him here. We've got a minute left on the smoke screen. And then we do have to keep in mind, right? And it's like, I think it's like 2.7, right? There is still a smoke firing penalty as a destroyer, right? So he could potentially get close enough to us to pick us up, and it would only take one little tickle from him to finish us off. I'm also worried about him blind firing at us too here. So we'll just keep moving. Got a good amount of distance here between us and him now. And see if we can get credit for a kill. And we do. Alright, so plan worked out, right? We don't have a lot of health left, but that's fine, right? You only need, it's another good example of you only need 1 health point. So we'll fast forward through the rest of the game, right? And this is kind of how you want to play, right? If you're especially if you're a destroyer player, right, and you're getting low on health, go around cap zones and spot battleships for your teammates. You can obviously still be very valuable as a player or a ship, right? Especially as a destroyer that's low on health, right? Just go around, cap zones, keep ships spotted for your allies, and you can still come back with the win here, right? So we'll keep the Iowa spotted here, and then once we cap this zone, the game is definitely ours for the taking. So I did take a couple of cheap shots at him while, right, like just like if we die, it's not going to matter, right? So yeah, but anyway, we'll take a peek at the leaderboard, and then we'll go through the commander build. We get top spot on the board again there, 2,500 XP. Also a decent amount of credits, right? So it's a good credit farming ship as well. So it's worth taking a peek in the store at the ships tab, right? For you should be able to buy this ship for global XP. So here's how I have the module set out, right? Main battery mod for slot 1. And then I like propulsion mod, right? You could go steering gears there. Concealment is probably a must, and then gun control, fire system, right, for dispersion and range there. You probably could pick reload, right, but the reload's pretty great. It's pretty good with this ship, so I went with main battery mod, right? So, and then we're using Jersey Swirsky, and both inspirations here are free to play inspirations. Now, I think the first game I played in this, we didn't have, or at least I recorded that game before the update. We now have presets, right? So I'm building all full blown into the guns here, and then I actually have Fox Flare on here, which is actually useless for Friesland because it has to do with radar, right? So this is where, right? So I'm using this commander on the other Pan-European destroyer line, right? And which the later tiers do have radar, so you'd want to use that Fox Flare. So I didn't change it up because I was playing a different ship, right? So what we're going to do here is we're going to build out a new preset specifically for Friesland, right? And we'll use the smoke dispersion instead of the Fox Flare perk. And then I'm actually going to use the same inspirations that I had before. So we'll go and find our our HE shell damage guy. Right, you do you here, right? But I went Sims for the more health, right? He's a really good inspiration for gunboat destroyers, and then we're just gonna find something else that does gun damage in some way, shape, or form, right? So I like this guy because he's a bit more HE shell damage, literally across the board, no matter what ship type. So he's a good one to just rank up 2 to have for inspirations. Right, and then so now you can go and change the preset from this view here, right, using your D-pad. And then the game remembers which preset you have on which ship. So now it'll always use preset number 2 when I play Friesland, and I don't have to go in and tweak it every time, right? It's like you would have had to before. So preset's really awesome thing that people have been asking for something like that for years now, I think, right? So it's a really awesome perk to have now. So, but thanks for watching, guys. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. I try to put out a Legends video every day. So if you are following, we'll see you guys tomorrow.